And one fish, two fish, one fish, two fish, and a red fish, blue fish, and a red fish, blue fish. I think I'm on. I think that looks like me. I think I'm on. I think that looks like me. I do have the echo though. Hold on. I do have the echo. So Twitch echo begun. YouTube echo turn on. I do have the echo though. Hold on. I do have the echo. So Twitch. All right. YouTube is good. Twitch is good. Fallen learns. Welcome in. CS Bond in the house, baby. And we have Rod Shelley. What am I doing? I think I'm gonna make a quick swimsuit. So our friend Loki is getting into making clothes, and so I'm gonna quickly just kind of run through my process of making clothes with Marvelous Designer. So I kind of have a swimsuit I think I'm gonna throw together. It's gonna look kind of like this, if I can find it. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna make something kind of like this. Although I think I'm gonna do a little higher cut. And I like this top. I'm debating, yeah, I think maybe I will do a line there. So it's got these big, thick kind of straps here around the waist and on the shoulders. And then there's these connections in the back. Oops, cancel. Kind of like, I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but I might put these on. And I think I might just do those as displacement maps. So we'll see how that goes. Anyhow, I'm going to try to knock that out real quick and get it over into Daz. So we're going to do that. You can never get MD to work well for you. Makes me sad. Oh, man. A lot of your network is proxied, so their new subscription model, you get error says it can't connect. Oh, Jesus, that's annoying. I talked to support about it, and basically, you're out of luck. We're not supplying old versions. Really? I guess you got to get a really old version. You can download. I'm currently using a version from last year, but you're probably looking at something older than that even, right? Does the one even from last year still wants to talk to the mothership? But let me take a look. What is the oldest version of MD that I can download? Let me see here. Log into my account. And mine might be a little older than other people's. So, what if I've been like subscribing for 3 or 4 years now? So I don't know if that has to do, if that impacts which versions you can download. Okay, I'm over on screen 2. Don't mind me. So let's go to, can I get to my downloads? And can I access the old, oops, no, that's just a straight up download. Go into my account. The one I use proxy settings. You can't change news to rely on. Well, that's pretty annoying. If I click on that, does that just download again? Oh, there we go. The oldest version I have access to is actually as the oldest version. And I'm not sure if it's just because I've been subscribing that long or how that works out. And if you did sign up at some point, you should have an account, but I don't think you'll have the downloads. But the oldest one I can download is from October of 2020, it looks like. And I'm not sure if that helps any. Which is kind of a shame. It has really enabled me to make clothes for Daz, basically. Because otherwise, it would be a lot harder. And a lot harder means takes a lot more time. You know what? I keep hearing about another alternative for Marvelous Designer. And it might just have to do with when you subscribed initially. So I know for me, I'm still using, what is it, from like middle of last year version. Although, because there was a internal lines aren't welding on export. Although my last test seemed to look like it. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah. So if you're just so if you subscribe like a few years later, you don't have access to the older versions even. Oh, pooper scoopers. You used to be able to get perpetual licenses, I know. I think Jay's still on a perpetual license. Our good friend WP Guru, aka Jared Vera Loose. Something like that. Anyhow, I'm going to play with Marvelous Designer. I'm going to make a bikini. I'm going to get this over into Daz. That's the plan for today. This hopefully won't be too complicated. And who knows, if it looks nice, I might try to sell it at Daz. We'll see. I've only got 3. I'm almost ready to. I'm real close to finally submitting the 50s Rebel outfit to Daz. I started uploading it today. I'm just going to double check everything one last time before I submit. Let's put that there. Then I have 3 other projects in the work. Rocket Girl is still in process. It's just that every time I open up I don't know, I'm not happy with the way the collar on the helmet's working. So I might just delete it. We'll see how that goes. And I do have the spring dress, which I did choose for last night. And we were already playing with the jewelry earlier this week. Anyhow, if Loki can check this out, I'm going to go get my Genesis 9 avatar. And this is just basically Genesis 9 exported out of Daz as a FBX file and then turned into an avatar. And I model on the Genesis 9 feminine shape. And then I convert it over to the base shape in Genesis 8. Anyhow, what are we looking at? I'm going to just trace this on the avatar. And I think I'm going to cut my hip a little higher and bring it down. I do kind of like that. That's kind of cool. So I think I'm going to repeat that on the front and the back. And same thing, because this isn't actually a repeat in the back, I don't think. Let's take a look in the back again. It doesn't, but I think I'm going to put a little cut right there. That kind of mirrors that. And also we're going to probably put a little trim right there. That kind of mirrors that trim that goes right down the front of the breast, doesn't it? Yep. Right now I'm trying to do a bit of retexturing the Vanguard spaceship from a few years. Ooh, that's such a nice model. You thought it would be pretty simple and quick. Oh no. Was it not UV mapped in any sort of... What did it have? What does it have? A billion different UV maps and you can't figure out which one goes to what you need? And then it's packed really tight so you can't tell what's what. And my brain stopped. All right, I'm making a swimsuit. There's our belly button. We're going to start with a band that goes right across here. I'm going to draw on the avatar. And I'm going to put this over here where I like it. But Marvelous Designer never likes to remember that. And we're just going to line avatar. And I think I'm going to come and we'll go back up a little. No, I think I'll just... Here, let's just draw... Yeah, I think I'm going to kind of pull this way. I'll see if I can get away with this. And this is going to come down about an inch. And I'm just going to kind of bring you back. Kind of like this. And I'm going to change that shape. But for right now, I'm off-centered here. Let's move that over a little bit. Can I just, we'll do the edit line avatar. Well, and of course now I don't. I think that's my center line. Wouldn't it be nice if I could see the... That's about right. I think we're going to do that. I'm going to curve this out a bit better, but for right now, to start with, this just gives me my rough. And then I'm just going to bring you down. They're packed with lots of details. Yeah. And then let's put you maybe somewhere in here. And then we'll just come up through here. And then I'll just bring it down. I should have actually, I'm going to redo that because I wanted to do that thing with a line through here. I forgot to add that, so we'll do that. I just said what I was going to do and then I completely forgot to do it. Bring you around here, sneak you through here, come up through here, and then maybe I'm going to close that off there. And I'm just going to pull this up this way. And then I think I'm going to connect you to there. And then it's whining. It's going, no. No way, Jose. So I might have to redraw. And then is that going to... There we go. That's pretty janky looking, but we're going to fix that. And remember, kids, crack kills. I'm a little off-centered there. That's fine. I'm going to... And can I get you to here? And then can we pull you up through here? Something like that. All right, let's convert this to pattern pieces. Dump, dump, dump. Where's the thing? Flatten. Is it not doing anything? Is it laughing at me? Did I choose flatten? I did choose flatten. It's like I don't have anything properly drawn on here. I'm not seeing any flickering. Did I not choose edit? I did choose, there's edit. It's laughing at me. Oh, boo-hoo. This is going to make things a little more difficult if my draw on avatar doesn't work. Maybe it thinks, so this was one segment here. Maybe it thinks it's not connecting or something over here. Let's see if we can fix that. That was an edit. See, can't cross. Try again. If I do this, can't cross. Try again. Yeah, but you're not letting me flatten. Am I just going to have to make this up? It's so much harder that way. I guess I'm just going to have to try to... Let's delete this stuff. I'm just going to back up here. Okay, can I flatten you? See, I can flatten you. Excellent. So that's going to be close. And then we can create a pattern piece there to start with. then I'm going to just line avatar. I'm just going to add this in. Did you not? I think I'll put that there, and then can I connect you, and then can I flatten that? I can flatten that. Okay, excellent. Let's see if we can get a back piece in. BRB, coffee is a calling. This probably should be a little farther back. That's okay. We'll tweak that later. Line at, nope, I don't want to edit. I just want to make one. And I don't know. Let's try. There's a center line. I don't want to do that. I do want to do this. Did that come all the way through? Pretty close. And then we'll just try to pull this baby steps. Is that about where I want that? Bring this somewhere maybe in here. And then can I flatten that? There it is. Okay, and we can flatten that. And then I'm going to just put a piece over on the side. I'm probably going to pull that further down, but we'll see how this goes. Line avatar. I don't know if I can connect these or not. This is probably a mistake. I'm going to not touch that line if I can avoid it. And can I flatten that? That's the big question. See, it's not letting me flatten. It's not catching that as a. So I'm going to have to redraw that. So I'm going to undo those. I'm going to undo. I'm just going to draw it nearby so I can get that pattern piece out of that. So boop. Nope, nope, nope. Boop. Can't see what I'm doing. All right, we'll see how this goes. See, now I can flatten it. It realizes it's a full piece. Okay, and I think I've got all my parts. I'm going to redraw all of these. That I'm probably just going to make a straight strip out of. You are the bootay. I'm going to kind of line you up like that. You get a little bit of a curve to you, so I'm going to kind of do that. This is going to sit in here, and then that's going to be the band. Okay, can I just get rid of all of this stuff? Nope, I didn't want to do that. I want those. I'm going to get rid of them in a bit, but not right now. We're just going to redraw with the polygon tool. And I think I'm just going to take that straight down. We're going to tweak that later. And I'm going to probably put a curve in there to smooth that out. Okay, I'm going to straighten you up. I've hit the wrong thing. You're pretty close. And then we'll make some adjustments. So you are going to be, I'm just going to run you straight across there. You'll come to here, there, there, and there. And then this. I should have gone the other way, because I'm just going to run that as a straight line down to about however long that looks like it might be. Pull you over here. And then, did you not connect back up? Oh, I didn't have a, there we go. Alright, that's going to go in the back. I could flip normals too. I'm just going to spin it around. And we have a lot of smoothing out still to do. Yo, DZ, how are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm trying to knock out a swimsuit real quick. So we'll see how that goes. I accidentally deleted a part that I didn't mean to delete. I got to make a strip that goes along here. Hey, everybody, check out our good friend DZ. Selling stuff over at the Daz and Renderosity. New content. Lots of new content. I can't keep track of all the stuff you make, dude. I should actually measure this, and then I'm going to make a strip. Survey says 370. So 370, and I want the height to be 25 because I'm making these 1-inch strips. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now I can get rid of this and get rid of that. And that's going to come somewhere in there. I'm going to probably tweak that. That's going to be in the back somewhere. Alright, we're going to make this equal to that. I think, do I want to just flatten that up and run it all the way around, or do I actually want to curve it down a little bit? I think I'm going to curve it down, and I think I'm going to do that by pulling this down and put a little bit of a curve through here. So I think we're going to lower that a little bit like that. I'm just going to curve that out a little. And I'm just going to curve this through here just a little to kind of get it to straighten up through here. I'm going to probably adjust where this goes. We're going to turn that into a curve point right there to smooth that out. I'm going to change the, that's 51.3, so we're going to make that 51.3, change length. And then we're going to come over here and 64 and make that 64. Change length, but we want to go the other way. Okay, and then I'm going to put a curve in here, but I haven't figured out what it is. And we're going to make sure that this is equal to that. And what are you? 12? I'm going to, do I want to make you like 15? Do I want to curve that a little bit? I think we're going to, so we're going to pull this back just a little bit like that. I'm going to put just a wee bit of a curve in there. Like maybe 14. And I'm going to just match that over here. So, oops, wrong point. I think I'm going to pull you in about here somewhere. Give you a wee bit of a curve. My magic number is 14. I need to pull that point out a little bit further, I think. 14. I think I'm going to try that. All right, let's sew this. Actually, I want this plus this plus this to equal 370. That says 270. No. You're 370. Something didn't get added in. It's saying 279. It's not adding 100 plus 210 plus 64 is not 279. 68.4, 279, 382. Okay, 382, that's better. That means I have 12.5 too much, so I think I'm going to take it out of here. So whatever this is, I'm going to subtract 12.5 from, and we'll just do it both ways. Then I have to readjust these. Change length. So 12.5. So 98.1. 198.1. Point one. I'm missing that point. Not that that makes a huge difference. I want to say both. I want to say okay. Then I think you need to be 51.3. So you know what? I'm just going to drag you a little bit. 51.3. That works. You're going to be 62.3. 62.3. There we go. All right, let's arrange some stuff. Let's turn off gravity while I'm working here. That'll make things a little easier to work with. Let's put that over on the side. Let's lower this down into the front a little bit. Let's put that on the side. I'm eventually going to probably cut the sides and resew the front. But for right now, we're going to do it this way. And where's my other? You are way back there. Let's get you in a little closer. All right, now I should be able to start doing some sewing stuff. That still doesn't. No, we got these big gaps. That might work. Anyhow, so that to that. This to there, and then hopefully that's a 68. That looks like it's about right. And I'm just going to sew that together, and then I'm going to just sew this to this, and then I'm going to just copy it all over to the other side. Control D, linked editing has been activated, and we'll just sew up the back, sew up the front, and sew up the waistband together. Like that. All right, let's see how this goes. Did I do that backwards? I don't think so. I think it's just pulling. Oh, I did need a whole lot more extra in here, I think. I'm going to unsew here. We're going to undo that. I'm not going to sew the crotch up right now. So we're going to let it kind of just do that for right now. So when I did set this up, I'm probably too short in here. Yo, DJ Ray, in the house, baby. So I'm just going to run this way too long, sew that up, and then we'll tighten it back up. So I'm just going to take that and just run down here. Hopefully that'll be too goofy. Really goofy looking. How you doing today, Ray? Let's try that. See, that's better. And then I'll just kind of tighten it up and tweak it out. I might need to make this a little bit longer. And I'm probably going to strengthen it just so it will, and I'm probably going to make it a little smaller. And I might, see, I've got a little extra, so I might tweak this. Actually, the whole thing is probably really stretchy. So if we make it a little smaller, and I'm just gonna, but I don't want to make you, I'll fix you in a second. Let's try this. See, that fits a little better. Still a little baggy. I think I actually want to pull that down into there. And I'm going to cheat. We're just going to strengthen that up. Actually, when I do that, I do kind of want to smooth that out. And maybe I want to actually pull that down to here. That one's in a good spot. I like that. Possibly tug that down a little. So I think maybe I want to try to get this over here. That is these parts right here. And then I still want to curve that. But for this, I don't know if we just add a little 1, 2, and maybe a little bit that way. And maybe a little further down and a little bit over. I like that, and actually that really smoothed out that curve a bit. Although I still will probably put a little. See, I like where it goes there. So I think we're going to stick. I'm going to stick a little curve point right there to kind of hold that in place. And I'm just going to tweak this just a little bit like that. And maybe pull that back just a little bit like that. I think I'm kind of happy with that. Do I need to make this a little thinner? Probably not. This little curve is helping wrap it a little better. I'm getting a little, maybe a little thinner right through there. Also, my offset's probably 3. I think we're going to stop the sim. I'm going to save this before it crashes. And before Ray starts yelling at me to save. File. Export. No file. Save as. Project. This is going to be some sort of sporty swim. I haven't quite decided yet. There we go. Beach party. I don't have a sports swim, do I? I'm going to call it sports swim for right now, and I'm going to rename it something else later, I think. Let's do new folder, and I'm just going to call you sporty swim, and I'm going to say 2025 just for the fun of it. And in here, let's just quickly drop a whip folder in. And I'm just going to put that right there. Sporty swim G9F. Okay, we're going to tweak just a little bit. So what did I want? I wanted to make that just a little thinner right there, or maybe right about here. Oh, I wanted to change my, I think right now I've got a 3mm offset on the skin. We'll just maybe tighten that up just a hair, if that's actually what I've got. I do, I have a skin offset of 3mm. I think I'm going to make that 2. So it's going to set down just a little tighter. And then I'm just going to pull that in a bit more. Maybe you're laughing at me. Don't laugh at me. I'm sensitive. Maybe pull that in a little bit more like that. I think that's kind of a good fit. Where am I lining up? I actually want this to be back a little further. So we're going to shorten that up a little bit and lengthen this out a little bit. And then I said lengthen, right? I still want to add a little bit of curve on this line too. All right, that's a little better. Okay, now this one I want to add a little curve into here. And I think I'm going to pin down. And I want a little bit of curve in here. And I think maybe, actually I want to pull this over here, I think. And I want to pull that over here. So I'm going to extend that out a little bit, shorten that up a little bit, maybe 20. Let's take a 20 off that length. Which direction? Okay, what am I at now? 97. Call that 77. And then this I'm going to extend out by 20. So we'll add 20 to 180, so 206. I got too many. There we go. And then I'm going to take these and move them down and maybe out this way a little. All right, then I'm going to curve, a little more curve, a little thinner here, but is that in the ballpark? I think maybe, what if I just curve? So I do want that to be narrower like that through here. But now it's a little too narrow through there. And I'm getting some weird, let's see if I can, it's rolling under itself down here is what it's doing. So maybe a little narrower. And if I do this, sometimes it just doesn't want to set. Maybe I'll just make that a little bit smaller. Maybe I'll pull this to about 10. So I'm just going to grab these and just pull that. And I'm looking at that target number, maybe 11. 10, 11.1. And then I need to adjust the this to be 11.1. So you know what, I think I'm going to just grab both of those. And I'm just pulling that over and I can just 10.9, 11.2. That's probably close enough. I want it to be a little wider right there. I have a bad tendency of not getting quite enough. I'm happy with that, but I need it a little wider there. So let's take a look. I'm going to have to probably drop in a couple of curve points to help me work on that. So I want it a little wider there. So I'm going to drop a little curve point right there. And I'm kind of happy with that there. Maybe a little wider still. maybe pull you. I'm pretty close. I think I'm in the ballpark. So I think that might be kind of good for this. And I'm just going to leave it on strengthen because it gives me that nice tight. It's like one side looks okay and the other side just sits funny. Let me see if I can, if it has a matter, if I can, you know, it might be this. What is my, I'm going to stop that for a second. I'm going to turn my additional thickness lower here. What happens if I do use, if I unstrengthen it? Wah. That might work. I know I'm getting a little bunchy in the drawers there. I think this front is almost, it's almost there. It just keeps feeling like it's off just a little bit. Maybe I'll just blunder. You know, you're off just a hair. I wish there was a way to do symmetry. Simulating in this. Alright, close enough. I'm going to go ahead and merge. And then I'm going to smooth that out. And then I might tweak some. We're going to do. Actually, everything's kind of okay here. Let's take you and you. We'll just merge that. Like so. I'm just going to come here. You know what? That looks nice and smooth across there. And then we'll just do a little merge through here. Excellent. I'll just sim it a little. You know, I like that. I should probably freeze it before something goes wrong. What if I strengthen that? You know what? My shapes are all good. I think this is going to be fine. I just have the feeling that it's off just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to. I want to merge this. I'm going to just merge it here in the back, and we're just going to have a seam in the. So we're just going to run a merge on that because that should just basically be like it's one strip all the way around. Also, I want to double check my measurement. My measurement got off when I shrunk it, so I got to reset these back to 25. That's got to go the other way. Okay, is good. And same thing with this. 25. Oh, those are still 25. What the heck? Are you? Oh, that's because they're still. That's right. I just have to do it on one side. Duh. I'm still doing the linked editing. I'm just going to merge the front so I get one nice, neat look there. Let's start kind of laying things out a little bit. I think I'm just going to move the sides up here for right now and put these here and here. All right, let's make them quads. Let's see if I have to do any adjustment. I might have to do some adjustment later, but for right now, I think we're good. Let's take a look at our mesh. Yeah, not too bad. When I start adding my little trim zones, things might get a little funky. Anyhow, let's see if I can knock a top out. I'm going to freeze. Let's just deactivate this for right now. And let's change the name of this to bottom trim. And we'll just give that an obnoxious color. Probably good. Okay, I'm going to select all of this. We are going to deactivate the pattern and sewing. I'm just going to hide it. I'm just going to put this down here on the pattern, and then we'll work on this. Let's take a look at our top. So there's it's kind of same thing piece here. I'm going to run a line through here. We're going to run a strip that goes around here. I'm going to probably pin it to the avatar in the back because it has a bad tendency of sliding down the back. Then we're going to trace out a piece here. This is going to be 5 and 5 and 5, which means I'm going to have this little 5 gap in here and here. Am I going to trim that? I am going to trim that too. And then we'll just do 1-inch strips over the shoulder. And I'm just going to add kind of a zone on the back where I'm going to add a fake detail for the slidey thing. That's the technical term for it, isn't it? So let's do a little bit of tracing with the pen on avatar tool. Hit save. Come over here. I can get rid of these, but there never seems to be an easy way to just delete them all at once. There must be somewhere. I still haven't found it. Line on avatar. There we go. Can I just... Wouldn't it be cool if you could just right-click and delete them all? Edit avatar, line on avatar. Ah, I thought doing a delete would... See that? It laughed at me. I said, hey, I don't want you. How about you go away? Nope. But it's going, no. We're not going to do that. There we go. Maybe I select 2 points? There, that's the secret. 2 points. And then I can delete it. Can I do all of these at once? Although I left this stuff down here. Alright, I've cleaned that up. So I want to run a line right under the breast. Hum diddy hum diddy hum diddy hum. Line avatar. I'm just going to start right here, and then we're just going to pull that along. Oh. Oh no, my target line went away. Let's pull you down about 25. So I'm going to put that like in there. Alright, then I'm going to run a piece from here. Kind of like this. Don't go away. And then we're just going to bring you here. And I'm going to attach you like that. I'm going to tweak these. And there's going to be a piece. I'm going to run kind of like this, because I'm just having weird issues today. And this is just going to kind of curve off wherever it wants to go, obviously. I would like you to come over here. And then maybe I gotta see how that, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna bring that straight up here. And then we'll just bring you back around. Kind of like that. And then there's just going to be one more piece. And we're just going to bring that around through here. And then we're going to put straps. I don't need to draw the strap. I'm just going to make a 25mm thing. Software, the hottest product created by people with a twisted sense of humor. They are evil. All right, let's flatten those out and see what we can get with. There, I saw it turned blue. Haha. Got it. At some point it will accidentally stay blue when I click on it. And that's just going to be a single piece in the back, going to be a single piece in the front. Alrighty, what are you? You're the side piece. You are a front piece. See, I got those nice curves. You're just going to be the back piece. I'm actually, are you side? Are you upside down? You are upside down. Why? I don't know. You're going to look something like that, and then I'm going to measure this, and I'm just going to make a strip out of that. That is 370, just like this one down here. How weirdly convenient. We'll start with our 370, and we'll make this 25. And right now I've got mesh mode, so you can see everything's these weird triangles. So how do I want to do you? I think I'm going to just kind of do that and make it just maybe straight. And this should be, well, this should be the straight part. So I might just do, oh, here, we'll trace these out and then worry about what's what. Polygon that. And I'm just going to kind of bring you there, and there, and there. We're going to curve that out. That's going to be probably 15. This, we're going to curve you like so. Bring you around like so. I think I'm going to put that, we'll try this here. That's going to end up being 10. And that's just going to come straight up. And something like that. Okay, so that one I can already keep. And you know what, we can just kind of quad optimize these as we go. Doesn't hurt. At some point they end up being quads. What is my... Alright, I'm going to leave that there for just a second. Z. What if I convert you to a curve point? You're probably okay. I think I'll get rid of you. These. Do I want to make you a curve point? What if I convert both of these to curve points? How does that work? Not exactly what I want. And you should be a straight line. I'm going to put those back. Let's fix you. We're going to delete you as a curve point, and I'm just going to... Where is the... I'm trying to get this to snap. I'm not seeing my snapping anymore. Did Chris turn his snapping off? Where did he hide the snapping again? Dagnabbit. Quad optimize that while I'm over here. You're still looking like... Yeah, you're supposed to be a nice little straighty point too. Okay, does that help any? Am I getting... See, I'm not getting any of my snapperinos going on here. It's like I turned it off or something. I gotta Google this because I've forgotten how it works. Marvelous Designer. Marvelous Designer snapping. Tune environment. I'm 2D environment setting snap to pattern. Is it display 2D pattern? Do I see a snap there? I don't see a snap there. Is it on here somewhere? Nope. Main menu, preferences, snap to pattern. Main menu, preferences, that would be too easy. Settings and preferences. Maybe preferences. Snap, there we go. Use smart guide, snap to pattern. I'm going to put those back on. Okay, now I'm seeing it. There we go. I want that to do that. Well, I'm probably going to tweak this a little bit to, you know what, we're going to make you, yeah, I'm going to bring you in a little bit like that. And this needs to equal to that. 56.5. Change length. I want to go the other way. And 56.5. Now I'm going to do that. And then I think I can convert these to curve points. And then I need another one of these to just smooth that out. What I need is to be able to hold like a control or a shift key down and just kind of keep it from being snappy sometimes. Let's try making that 10. I might end up pulling that around. Okay, I got one more piece to do. Let's convert you to a curve. I'm going to make you a curve point. I'm going to get you out of the way. Are you the original? You look like the original. And then I'm just going to tweak that. I'm looking at that corner there where it's got a number in there. 90.6, probably good. Let's make that 15. I need that just to go the other way. Or it doesn't make any difference, I don't think. Actually, I'm probably going to switch. I probably already screwed that up. I'm going to do mesh. Quad optimized. So this needs to equal that. So that's 201.8, 184. So I'm going to add, I think that's 20 to that. It's either that or I need to pull 20 off of this. I'm gonna, let's pull 20 off of this. So 1.8, 1.8, is that right? 184. I went too far. I want that to be 184. 184. We'll do that. Then I'm just going to pull you maybe somewhere in there. I said I did want that to be about 10. Because I'm going to attach that to that. See, now there's the problem with snapping, is I don't have a way to toggle it off. Alright, I might need to change some of these angles a little bit, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, you're kind of on this side. You are my back. And what I might do is I might just make the band smaller. Or it depends. I gotta measure up these edges before we see how they line up with that. And then let's get you here into the front. Okay, we're going to do some sewing. I can sew that to that, and I'm pretty sure we can sew this to this. And then I'm going to just measure these across through here. Hopefully it actually totals 182.9. So do I actually want to make this maybe a little shorter? Yeah, I think actually shorter is better. Damn it, I already lost my 182. So I need to take 12.9 off. So I'm going to do that right here, I think. Change length. So 10 is 80. 2 more is 78, and 0.9 is 77.2, something like that. All right, so this is 56.4, and that is 56.5. You know what? That's close enough. I'm going to live with that. And we'll just sew, and sew, and sew. I eventually have to add a strap that goes over the shoulder. That'll come up next. I mean, first we're going to put that over there, move that over there, and let's sew everything on our center lines. All right, let's see how that goes. Not bad. I'm probably going to use some pins or something to make that run a little higher. Actually, I might be able to do that with my strap. That doesn't fit too bad. All right, I'm going to just put a big... I guess I do need to angle these a little bit better. That one can come down a little this way. This one can probably come down a little that way. So maybe put you right about there. And that still needs to be about 15. See, there's that. There, that's going to be about 15. Maybe a little. That's about right. Let's work on the other one. So this needs to stay about 10, and I want it to be maybe somewhere right about there. Oh, that says 8, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 5, 9, 7, 10, 3, of course. $10. Does that look good? I like that. All right, we're just going to strap one side first. So I don't know, I'm going to just eyeball it at 200 maybe. So I'm going to say 200, and that's going to be 25. Let's quad optimize that. And let's position it so that we'll sew this. So since I'm right here, that gets sewn there. There we go. Let's put that up over the shoulder. Yeah, I'm totally going to need more length on that. And I'm probably going to just sew it right about in here. And I think you're my inside edge. So maybe just do that. So that is maybe a little bit longer. I do want this line to be right about here. So we're just kind of maybe 3. 1, 2, 3. Nope, I've got too much tension in there. So we'll just add a few more. Are you working out any better? Maybe one more. How are we looking over here? I'm pulling way too much over here too. So we gotta drop you down. That's pretty close. I actually want that to be just underneath the breast though, like that. Here, I'm gonna put the strain map on so I can kind of get a feel for what we're doing. Activate strain map. See the way everything's all red there in the strain map? We'll try to get that so it's just not quite. Still, look at that. I got a little bit of it out of there. We're going to pull a little bit out over here. I'm just going to do baby steps now. That's pretty close to actually where I want it. Do I want that up over the shoulder farther though? Which means do I want to move these? Are you lined up where I want you? Maybe I'm going to pull these back. Take these up a little bit. Nope, there's a curve point in here I'm not getting. There we go. Yeah, baby. I think I'm getting there. Although maybe, is that a good spot? I think that's a good spot. I think I'm going to live with that. Let's duplicate this to the other side. Get that other strap in here and see how that's going to go. Control D, zip. think that's fine. I got a little bit of a goof over there and over here. I think I'm happy-ish with this. I think that's kind of what I want. He said, continually tugging at it. So what happens if we... What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little extra fabric over here so I can kind of put a little bit of a trans map and a displacement map to make that slide thing. And we're just going to cheat that in with the displacement map. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe just in here at 15 millimeters or whatever, we'll then extend this out a little bit. I think 20, maybe 20. And then I'm just going to use a trans map and a displacement map to fake that. And I'll probably set that up as a separate material zone. I don't know. We'll see how this works out. I probably should set it up as a separate, so that I can texture it separately from the main part. I'm not even paying attention to what I got there. Let's pattern outline. Do the same thing here. To pattern outline. Now I can kind of see what this is. See, that's 35. I said I wanted to be maybe. Why are you not changing on me when I move that? Because that would be too easy. Because I was selecting the wrong thing. There we go. Now when I do this, I can see that number change. I'm trying to slide that down to about 25. Because my brain works in nice, neat numbers like that. 25.1. Good enough. I'm just going to extend these out a little bit on here. Offset pattern outline. Is 5 going to be good enough? I think 5 is going to probably be good enough. You know what? I'm going to do that and leave the internal line, though. I forgot to do that. Offset is pattern outline. We're going to leave that internal line in there. And then these are going to be, I don't know, just... God, I need to know the name of this thing. I think it's a slide something. I'm going to say parts of a bra. Anatomy of a bra. Sliders. I'm going to put sliders on here. That's what they're called. So now I'm just going to texture them in. The one that I'm actually following has rings. I'm not doing rings. So I think I'm going to just, we're just going to do a little cut and sew here. So this will get its own material zone. Hey Charles, thank you for being here, man. Always appreciate it. Everybody check out CS Bond 2. The Awesome Sauce on Twitch. Oops. I'm going to try a little bit of steam over here. See if I can just smooth that out just a pinch. It doesn't seem to be... There we go. See, that tightened it up nicely. I like that. I think I'm good. So I'm going to start adding trims. We're going to add a bunch of 5mm trims on here. And then when I do that, I'm probably going to... I might need to switch some of this stuff from quads to tris. Just because it gets a little funny sometimes. But I think we are close. You know what? I'm going to strengthen those, and then let's do our merging. Okay, we're gonna just merge that. I'm on the wrong tool here. So we're gonna say merge on that. I'm gonna merge the front into a single piece. I'm gonna merge this back into a single piece, and then I'm gonna smooth that out. We'll convert that to a curve. Merge that. Convert to curve point. Yay. Let it sim a little bit. Simmer. I think this is fine. I'm happy with how that's looking. I'm going to add a whole bunch of trims in here though. And then we're going to do the bottoms. All right, let's arrange our 2D so I think let's put you guys over maybe like that. And can I get these? I got a lot of room in here. Maybe get these in here, and maybe I think I want to line that up just a little bit more like that. And then we're going to just take you and line you up in here. And see if I can get this to be a little more efficient. I think I'm still, if I just stack these on top of each other, I'm still probably, let's see how this fits into a, how this fits onto a UDIM. Reset the 2D arrangement. Reset to 2D arrangement. Something got left behind. That's what happened. Yeah, you got left back there. There's my problem. There's my problem. Can I just... If I do that, they both flip. I'll try and tighten these up a little bit, but I think this is my determining factor, this long piece right here, as to how tight my map's going to get. So reset, fit to the O1, okay. See, I don't have a lot of room there. If I pull this down just a little bit, this will be the thing that actually drives the size of the UV map. I mean, I guess I could split it in on the sides and tighten things up a bit, but I think I'm going to leave it kind of like this. I'm going to pull these down just a little bit further though. Oops, I went to the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, let's just... I didn't select something despite the fact I marqueed over it. Alright, I think we're good. Back to the UV editor. Reset. Fit. Okay. See, I've got a lot more room here, and right there is the... And that's as far as that's going to go across. So I think we're... I think that's good enough. Alrighty. Back to here. Hit save. Let's turn... is my simulation off? Simulation's off. So let's get in here and start adding trim. I don't need trim along this bottom edge, but I do want trim on this top edge. I'm going to put trim right there. We're going to set these all to just be offset internal line 5, and then cut and sew. Actually, before I do that one, I'm just going to force an internal line through the middle of that one. So I'm just going to drop an internal line like that, and then I'm going to try that again. Offset as an internal line. See, that's giving me much better geometry there, so I don't have to turn that into tries. Cut and sew that. Oh, now it's gone funky anyhow. See how it gets weird over here? And I don't like making things tries, but it actually works better. It gets a neater shape. I mean, I guess I could pop it into Blender and clean this up, but I don't really want to have to do that if I don't have to. All right, we're gonna. Am I still? Is my linked editing still a thing in here? No, it's not. Okay. Let's offset those as internal lines. I'm gonna cut and sew those. Those are fine. Okay, you are, so I'm going to need a little, so I don't need an internal line here because we got that trim right there. I do want trim right here. And we're going to cut and sew that. And that looks kind of neat. And that's, see, I don't necessarily have to change that. That's, they're not getting weird. I want to put an internal line. Do I want an internal line right there? And right here. No, actually, I think I'm going to put a line on the ends of the straps. At least this end. Do I want to do that? Actually, I'm not even going to bother with that one. Never mind. This has still got linked editing, which is probably going to be bad mojo in just a little bit. Also, that angle is just a little off. So here, let's do removed linked editing. And can I just convert you maybe to a curve point? So that smooths out. I'm just going to drop an internal line through here just for the fun of it, with hopefully with the idea it'll even the mesh out a little bit. And I want to put an internal line here. And cut and sew that. And you want internal lines here on the front. And we cut and sew those. So all of that see, this geometry got a little weird. When it starts getting those weird long, this one right over here, I don't like those. So I am going to just switch you to be tries. See, that looks so much. If I could just delete all of these extra things. Well, I mean, I could, but I don't want to do it. Is this good? All right, so that's good there. We also want to add some trims on the straps. They're still linked edited. So I'm going to just do there and there. Cut and sew. So that'll be straps and strap trims. I think this is still linked edited. This can get nasty if I leave that linked edited. So let's remove linked editing. Can I just drop I'm just going to drop an internal line here to try to improve things. Grab that and that, that and that. Internal line. Okay. Cut. So look at that. Why? It's like, what's the most obnoxious way I can do this? And that's despite the fact that I have, if I just cut and sew that, see, that fixes everything, except down here, it gets funky. So you know what, we're not going to do that. I'm just going to try to do the old evil tries. Evil tries. This one looks okay on the bottom here. Okay, this is the waistband. Let's take the linked editing off of that. I'm overly optimistic that that'll actually do something. Offset as an internal line. Cut and sew those. See, it did it again. And it had it too. It had a good mesh. But then when you cut and sew, it decides to do something different. It's going, hey, I'm going to do garbage now. All right, that's better. All right, moving along. So I don't need trim here on these top edges, but I do want to put trim on these edges here. And then maybe I'll just put the trim on these edges over here. I think we'll do that. Is that still linked edited? That is. Offset internal line. Okay. Cut and sew. I'm totally going to turn those into tries. And then we'll just do that over here. So this just gives me my trims and my edges. Cut and sew that. Those look neat. I'm not touching that. Except you see how that, why did you do that? Cut and sew that. Let's watch this. Why does it move? I don't know. Over here is fine. Over there, not so much. What if I take the linked editing off? Let's try that. And then let me do the cut and sew. Did that happen over here? See, this looks perfectly fine. That got the symmetry right. Over here, not so much. All right, now it's holding. Now I got the symmetry off. I have no idea why it did that. Extra polys just for the fun of it, I guess. Oh, that's why it, because for some reason this, yeah, it'll be fine. All right, what am I doing here? I'm adding, right there's the last of the trim. Offset internal line. I'm not happy with that, but let's see how this goes after we cut and we sew. We cut, we sew, we get, you know what, that could probably be worse. Is it probably okay? I think it's time to start assigning materials. So right now, everything is called bottom trim. So, let's start blocking out what I need to do here. Click. This is going to be bottom front. This will be bottom rear. We'll change the colors after we sign. This is bottom sides. This is going to be bottom waist. Bottom weight. How about waist? There we go. This is going to be bottom waist trim because we added a little trim on the strips. All right, moving along. I'm going to change the color of this one. And that's going to be top trim. Top front. Top rear. I'm optimistic I will get this in the Daz. Oops. Top sides. Top straps. Strap trims. Ribs. I'm going to call that for lack of a better name for it. Or chest. I'm going to call it ribs. We'll do that. And then ribs trim. I'm not going to bother changing the colors because that's kind of a... but I do have to assign everything. So it actually makes sense to change the colors. We're going to quickly change the colors. This way I can see what I'm doing. That's the real reason I changed the colors. They don't get exported out, but it helps me see what's what. Getting there. I don't like that's those are too close. Need that to look a little bit different. I can't see that. There we go. Okay, let's do this bottom front. Can I see texture? Texture surface. There we go. That way I can see what's what. Bottom rear, bottom sides. Bottom waist trim. Bottom waist. Let's see if we can get that. Yay! Although apparently I got the... There we go. I missed. Let's see. Can I just get you? There we go. That's better. Okay, let's get the ribs. So we'll start with the rib trim. You're supposed to say ribs trim. And then I can dump the ribs. Oh, dang it. Despite the fact I marqueed past it, and even though I'm dropping stuff on it, I swear to God, the selection tools, garbage. Let's switch you all to top trim and go from there. Top front, top rear, top sides. Oh, and I need the sliders, top sliders. Straps, top strap sliders. So where was I? Top straps, there and there. I want that, I want that, that, and that, and those are straps trim. And then this and this, this and this. I'm gonna make the sliders. I probably should have changed the color on that. It's too late. We're good, we're good. Am I good? Did I get the ribs? I got the ribs. Straps trim, ribs trim. I think we're good. All right, let's, you can see while it's not been doing anything, it kind of shifted on me. So let's just do that to fix that. All right, I am happy with how that top looks. Let's freeze it in place. So activate freezing. Oops, that's not freezing. Are you my freeze? There is my freeze. Let's turn the strain map off. And let's bring the bottom back and get it, because it's probably not settled in place anymore. Because that's the way this program rolls. It looks pretty good. Dum 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 dum. Activate. You know what? I'm happy with that. It didn't go anywhere. I'm just going to boldly let it settle and then do that, and we're good. All right, I'm going to hit save. All right, now we're going to fit this to the base figure and fit this to the Genesis 8 figure, and then we're going to load it up in Daz and get the Genesis 8 figure outfit set up. So let's unfreeze everything. And let's leave it like that. Then we're just going to come in, select you. I did to save already, right? Control S. Then I'm just going to do File, Save As, Project. And this is just going to be for the Genesis 8. Female. And it's going to be scaled at 94.1. And then we're just going to get in here. I might change this. Dang it. Something popped in the way and I accidentally clicked on it. Show fitting suit or something like that. Is that what I accidentally did? Yep, that's actually what I accidentally clicked on. All right, let's load in. This is in the our avatars. G9 avatars. I think that's still over here. There is my Genesis 8 shape. Double click. Bring it in as a morph target and say OK. And we kind of wait and we take a quick look. It got a little loose in the back, didn't it? I wonder if I want to resize this to be a little bit larger. So do I have a regular, and I can't undo this, so we got to reload. I hate the fact you can't undo applying a morph target. It is really annoying. So I'm just going to reload where we screwed up. I'm going to try this with a Genesis 8. Do I just have a straight up Genesis 8? G9, G8 shape. I think that might be it right there. Let's try that. Load that as a morph target. No, that's still... My chest isn't quite deep enough. So she needs to be a little wider. Let's try... So I have to undo... You know, I'm going to leave that for a second. Let's try another morph target. Actually, can I use you as a morph target? Incompatible. That just figures. Let's try this. Let's open up Daz. We're going to get a little, we might get a little creative here. I might just make it wider. And then I have to bring it in, scale it, and then narrow it down a little bit to fit Genesis 8. It's getting a little convoluted, but we'll see how this works. First things first, let's just load in a Genesis 9 that I'm going to use to create a morph target with. Let's turn the mesh density to base. Let's dial in the straight up Genesis 8 shape, and we'll just try that and see if that's going to give me something I can actually use. I'm gonna export it twice. I'm gonna kind of do the 94.1, but we're gonna make it a little bit wider. And yeah, I'm gonna do this. Scroll down here. So this is kind of the Genesis 8 shape. This is just going to work for what we're doing today. Although maybe I want to move these legs over. I'm going to try that. I'll play with it. Actually, this will be close. So let's export this out. Going back to the beach party. What did I already call this? Sporty something 2025. I'm going to put it right here. Although I probably should put it in my avatar folder. But G9, G8F shape. Let's try that. Let's see if this works. This may be incompatible too. Send that out. Pop over to here. Let's see. File. Import add. Can I just do this as a morph target? I think so. File import add obj. I'm completely in the wrong spot. Projects. Beach. Sporty. Whip. Let's see. And we're going to bring you in as a morph target. We'll see how this goes. Fingers crossed. You know what? That's fitting a lot better. I might I might just go with that for the Genesis 8 version. I think that worked well enough. So I don't think I have to do any scaling. These legs might need to be posed a little bit. We'll see how that works out. Because they don't have that A pose. But anyhow, let's check this out. Let's export this. We'll just get them in here. Not on you, because you're Genesis 9. Right here is where I may have an issue. File, export OBJ selected. Look at that, I am in the Sporty Swim directory. So that was cool. You're going to be, I don't know, Sport Swim GAF top. And should be good. Okay, let's get that bottom. Sport Swim bottom. And should be good. Pop back over here. The bottom's what I'm worried about, so let's do that first. Activate import. There's the dresses folder. We are in the beach party today. Sporte, whip, bottom. Okay. I'm just going to do 10,000% because, hey, I think it fits. I think that's going to work. All right, let's do the quick D-force test. That worked. All right, let's get the top in here then. And let's check and make sure, what are my surfaces looking like? You know what? That's not too bad. Those are kind of almost useful with the extra garbage, I think. Pretty close. I think I'm just going to import in the top and we'll call it a day here. And maybe we'll pick this up on Saturday. Kind of leaving off exactly where we are in the process. So anyhow, what's the next step? Hey, Zach, how are you doing? Good to see you. Import the top. Perfect timing. You join it. Yeah, well, you know me. I do the 2 hours and I call it a day. And what am I doing? I'm importing a top. Activate, import. Shape of a top. Let's accept that. I think that's good. Let's put a D-force modifier on here. Let me do that. I think these are all these names look like they're cool. Doing well, just busy with the midterms. How many years you got in school? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Part of my bottom's missing. The crappy selection tools missed a piece again. See that little strip right there? Of course you don't. There we go. Let's try this. File. Export. Good thing I caught it early. It's always annoying when I catch that after I've done a lot of work. That is the bottom. I'm going to say yes to that. Don't you? Yeah, I hate it when that happens. And it's going, how can I salvage this work? And often it's just you can't. And I tell myself it goes faster the second time, but it still hurts. See, there's my mission geometry right there. That didn't get selected and copied last time. All right, we're going to put a d-force modifier on that. I'm just going to put a d-force modifier on that. This is our d-force test. If this goes bad, it tells me there's something wrong with my geometry right off the bat. Well, the practice, that's it. That's it. You get better. 3 years for your honors associate because of COVID missing. Damn that COVID. And just transferred to university, pursuing a double major media production. Concentration. Ooh, cinematography. I even know what that is. And debating on a master's. Yeah, that's tricky. Is it worth the... Uh-oh, I forgot some trim over here. That's annoying. I need a little bit, I need a spot of trim right on this bottom here. All right. We're gonna get the spot of trim on there. We're gonna put it in here, and then we're gonna rate out. Which means we have to step back. Recent. Not that one. I gotta just do file, open project, and I have to come back here to the G9. And say okay to that. And I forgot to add, I need trim right there on this bottom edge here. I forgot that. Dough. Okay, offset internal. Yes. Let's take a look at our mesh view. That might be okay. Let's do a cut and a sew. That's going to be okay. So that needs to be bottom trim. Like that. Let's switch you back to texture so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, and this needs to be bottom trim. See, this is why I switched over to the color checker. Oops. I did not click on you, you rat bastard, you. All right, I think we're good. Shoot weddings and second shooter and do commercial video. Neat. Okay, so we're going to reapply the morph target. What did I save you again? I didn't. I did a file import add obj. That one right there as a morph target. And I'm going to say okay to that. I'm just going to... All right, that's looking good. All right, now we're going to save as project. And I want to do this Genesis 8 version because I don't want to overwrite that. Oops, double check what you're doing, Chris. All right, we're good. Okay, now we're going to just do the exporting again. Dun, dun, dun. Did I select everything? I think I did. Export the OBJ selected. We've got the top. We got the bottom. We're a couple minutes past 9. It's fine. It's fine. What is it? Thursday? We did raid Dan last week, but we'll see who is around to raid in a couple of minutes here. Let's activate the importee. The bottom. The top. Take a look. See, there's my missing material zone right there. I think I'm good. That's fine. I got that trimmed there. Yep, I'm happy-ish with this. I don't know if I'm gonna. Nah, I'm gonna leave it like that. Here, we'll do the D-force check. Apply the D-force. Apply the D-force. We're on this Thursday all day. Oh, what do you mean, today? It is Thursday, yes. I just have to figure out who's on. All right. D-force ran. Nothing vanished. Nothing exploded. We're probably... So we're basically, for this, done with the Marvelous Designer portion. Well, not quite. We still have to do the Genesis 9 base version. So basically, I just go back to this one. Actually, let's hit save here. Then we're just going to go back to here. So we're back to our Genesis 9 version. And then I'm going to fit that to the Genesis 9 base. I might as well do that and get those exported out, and then we'll call it a day. There is our base. We're going to just load you in as a morph target. Everything just gets a little funky. And then we'll just do the same thing we just kind of did for our exports. Trying to pay attention to make sure I select everything. And actually I'm going to do file save as project. And this is going to be G9 base. So I don't accidentally overwrite my feminine. And then export OBJ selected. This is going to be the bottom for G9. This is going to be the top for G9. And I'm going to stop here for the day. Okay, and we will pick this item up on Saturday's stream, 1 p.m. Saturday. Be there or don't. And thank you all for being here. Let's find a raid target and call it a day. I have just gone 6 minutes over. We'll go a little bit longer. Anyhow, hey, if anybody's watching on the YouTube, bye. Thank you if you're there. And I'm going to shut YouTube off right now. And then I'm going to pop over here to Twitch. And we're going to raid out to somebody. Where is my YouTube? No, I have to do this in OBS. Right. Okay, there it is. All right. Bye-bye, YouTube. And we are... Okay, now we can talk bad about YouTube. DC, it was good to see you in it. I hope everything's going well enough for you. I hope you're feeling well. And we are going to find somebody to raid and go hang out with. Let's see if any of the art friends are on. If not, we'll see if any of the music friends are on. So, let's do this. Where is... And I'm going to go down to the bottom of my list to work my way back up. I mean, worst case scenario, we can check out Dr. DK may be on. Do like me, because I understand that she's still on, but she's probably raiding out. You know what? Let's go over and hang out with Lady Athria. It's been more than a day since I've rated Lady Aethria, so we'll do that. She is doing art. It says continuing to avoid the watercolor painting with markers. So there we go. We're going to hang out with one of our other art friends. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we will be back Saturday, 1 p.m. For more of this stuff. We're going to pick up this outfit in Daz Studio. We should be able to get the rigging started and the texturing started. So that's on Saturday. Then we will be back Saturday, 8 p.m. for the Saturday Night Social. It's an art share. It's a Discord chat. It's an old cartoon. Feel free to join the Discord if you haven't already. If you put stuff in the gallery, we will share it on Saturday. So there you go. This times are all in Eastern. So let's do this. Hey, I hope you all can join us with the raid. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to use that raid call. If you are a subscriber, you can use the sub raid call. Hey, are you all following CS Bond? Doesn't stream a lot, but he does have a cool Discord. Feel free to check that out. And thank you all for being here. It's always a pleasure to see Rob. It was good to see Zek. Napsmore. I saw Napsmore in here. Somebody else whose name is falling out of my. We had the legendary D Zhang in the house. Go check out their store over at Renderosity and that other place, Daz 3D. I think it's a small little content store. And DJ Ray was in the house. Check him out. Should be streaming tonight at 10. Ooh. And Fallen Learns was in here too. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Catch you later. So let me do this. Let's start this /raid lady. Is there underscore? Yep, underscore a 3 there's an E. I'm missing an E. I think that worked. Alrighty. Thanks for being here. Hope you all have a good rest of a Thursday or Friday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And hey, Fallen, hasta la vista, baby.